Hello, this is a video about the passive voice, the verb form that you use when the subject isn't doing the action, but is having an action done to it. For example, I might say, I totaled my car in the accident, and in that sentence, I'm using active voice because I, the subject, is doing the action of totaling the car. But I could flip the sentence around and make the car the subject and say, the car blank in the accident. Now the car is not doing the totaling is happening to the car. So the way I would phrase that is the car was totaled in the accident. That's an example of passive voice. Here's another example. Somehow I wrote the paper last night. This again is active voice because I, the subject, is doing the action of writing. I wrote the paper last night. But I could flip the sentence around and make paper the subject. Somehow the paper last night. In this case, I would use the passive voice. The paper was written last night. That's another example of the passive voice. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you can use was totaled or was written, but also in more casual speech, you sometimes say got totaled or got written. Now, the rule for passive voice is you take a to be verb like was or get or got, and you add that to what's called the past participle, which with regular verbs is just adding ed, but with irregular verbs like write, the past participle is written, or break, the past participle is broken. And you use that to show that something has happened to the subject. So that brings us to our index card. You can write passive voice at the top if you're writing this down. And you want to look for verbs that show something happening to the subject. And then make sure you use the passive form, which is a to be verb or get or got plus the past participle. And then on the back side, you can write some examples. First example, I am exciting about this class. Now, this might sound wrong to you right away, but I see this a lot in student writing because the verb excite needs to be in the passive form. So we need to change it to excited. And here's another one that I see a lot. My wife and I got married in 2000. The verb there that needs to be in the passive form is marry. And of course, it needs to be married.